to News and Views of myself, Salailo Makwidiri. We're going to be switching gears now to our hashtag Africa Focus feature. This is a part of a show where we look at some of the most pressing issues around the African continent. We're going to be looking at, what you need to know about the vastness of the African continent and some of the headlines that are doing the rounds. And this time around, we're not going too far. Still staying here in the region, Southern Africa. Malawi, to be specific, they're heading to the polls in a high stakes presidential election, and it's coming amid soaring inflation, food shortages, climate disasters, and just widespread frustration amongst the population. The incumbent president, Lazarus Chakwera, seeks a second and final term and is coming up against a familiar rival, Peter Mutharika, and a field of 17 candidates. And here on Africa Focus feature, at this moment, we'll be joined by a Malawi-based security journalist, Ephraim Mkali, and he'll help us to unpack what's really at stake for the citizens, for the stability of Malawi, and just for the region, and just give us a real time feel of the country and what's happening at this point as people are casting their ballots. Ephraim, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really appreciate you giving us the time this morning, and really looking forward to get an insight on election season in Malawi and what it's currently looking like.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. Just go straight to the point of it's that yesterday on 16th September, it was a day whereby Malawians went into the polls, the general elections that combines up with the presidential, parliamentarian, and the ward councillors. And the polling stations were opened at exactly 6 o'clock in the morning, and when the time was reaching at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, the polling stations were closed, and right away the counting of the votes started. And this year we have experienced, or we have seen, a number of 17 candidates competing on the seat of presidential candidates. But just an overview that the race is between the incumbent president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, and the former head of state, Professor Peter Mutharika. These are the main contender in these elections. But, the number of the people that were expected to vote were about 7 point something million who were supposed to vote. But according to MEC, the Malawi Electoral Commission, is that it looks that the number of people who have voted, cast their vote yesterday, has been low. The number has been low. It looks the number to be 3 point something million people who have voted. So there has been a low turnout of voters, regardless of having a good number of voters who registered yesterday, who registered on these polls. But currently, the main contender on these elections, it's between the Democratic Progressive Party candidate, who is Professor Peter Mutharika, and the Malawi Congress Party MCP candidate, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the current president.
Ephraim, just quickly, if you can just focus on what could potentially be, the drivers of, the way that the people of Malawi vote. What could be the ultimate reason? What does it boil down to that could decide how they choose who's going to be the next leader of the country? And looking at the two candidates, you mentioned the incumbent and the challenger, Chakwera and Mutharika. Who would you say is the potential front runner this time around, and how strong were their campaigns in comparison to each other?
Well, actually, let me begin up with the Lazarus Chakwera, who is the current president, who is seeking again for the other 5 years. In fact, they had a very powerful campaign, because Chakwera traveled almost in each district in the country here. And in each region, he traveled a lot. And Peter Mutharika did not do much in terms of campaign. He just went to campaign only for 3 weeks. That he did his campaign. But it looks, according to the votes that have been started counting, it looks that Peter Mutharika may carry a day if all goes well, if the results will remain as they are trickling currently. Then would say the former president, Peter Mutharika, will be bouncing back into the power.
What would you say is the reason behind the low voter turnout that you mentioned? Why are people not coming out in their droves, considering, you know, the challenges that the country is facing right now, you know, the issues of unemployment, issues of high, you know, inflation, and just the general cost of living? You would expect people to get a bit more agitated, angrier, and looking forward to see a change.
You know, actually, people are frustrated. People were frustrated because they had trust in this current government, the Chakwera government. So people, they thought the way he has run the country, and this has made people to be frustrated. You know, politicians, that people thought, say, politicians, they're just saying it, and every time they promise things, but they don't do. So that is one thing that has made people low turn up of voters. And again, people had no trust with the chairperson of the Malawi Electoral Commission. People they had no trust because they associated her with the ruling party MCP. And the other thing, it was that the use of the electronic gadgets, the machine electronic gadgets. So this also compromised people because there were rumors to say that the current government would want to rig the exam, the vote using this electronic machine and the like. So, you know, people were frustrated. So in all and all, what I can say that the frustration that has made people low, not to go in large numbers to vote.
No, most definitely. Just lastly, before I let you go, Ephraim, for people that are following, you know, the developments in Malawi, I know here in South Africa there's a very, very big interest. You know, we have a significant Malawian population living here and working here. What are the indicators to watch out for in the next coming days or in the next coming weeks that will tell us whether things are going to go smoothly in these elections or they could slide into a bit of trouble?
No, I think currently Malawians, wherever they are, and those people who are following the currents in Malawi, we should expect that there will be these elections will be just peacefully, and we expect that the transition will be there. Because at first we were thinking that maybe because of the law, the current law that states that a winner will be found after amazing or getting to 50+1 votes. Percentage. That means anyone who gets a 51% will be declared as a winner. If one gets below 51%, cannot be declared as a winner. That means there will be a rerun, the first and the second. Then they will run into a second first. But the look of things, I don't think if we are going to have a rerun, because the way the votes are coming, the way the results are coming, it looks that Peter Mutharika will carry there.
There you go, Ephraim Mkali Banda coming to us from Malawi. Really, really appreciate it. I'm sure when the results start trickling in, we'll also start getting in touch with you to get the latest on that front. Otherwise, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
There you go, Ephraim Mkali Banda coming to us live from Malawi, where, yeah, it's election season, that part of the continent, and it'll be interesting to see ultimately how the results are going to pan out, who's going to win between the incumbent and the challenger, the front runners there being Chakwera and Mutarika. One very, very experienced, current sitting president of the country, and another one, a new fellow, that wants to make an impact and that wants to, give the people of Malawi a sense of change. Because I think in the last few years, things have been really, really difficult in Malawi. They're a country that are very, very vulnerable when it comes to the ever changing environmental climate. Drought has been the order of the day, ultimately leading to inflation, rising cost of living, high employment and poverty rates. So I think, yeah, very, very important elections for them. I think, but not quite motivating, the fact that not a lot of people came out to cast their ballots. And I think that's the trend all across Southern Africa and the continent. People feel like their votes don't really make much of a difference. Same situation right here at home. It's not something to celebrate. It's not something to perpetuate, something to condemn as much as we can, because we live in these democracies for that one reason. The fact that we're able to choose who ultimately gets to lead the countries that we live in. So yeah, I think for the people of Malawi, a bit disappointing. Should be coming out in your numbers to exercise a right that many across the world don't get to enjoy. Gonna take a quick break. This has been #Africa Focus feature. We'll be back with you after this.